Welcome to the Traveller's Cyber Academy, a video series on cybersecurity and cyber risk management. We designed it to inform brokers on emerging cyber trends, risks, and threat prevention techniques, and also to excite them about the possibilities. Our topic for today: cyber insurance, protect and prevent. At a time when businesses are increasingly reliant on technology, cyber insurance provides important protection against a range of technology-based threats. Lost or stolen data is just the start. Cyber insurance also protects against losses from fraud, extortion, and business interruption. A good cyber policy will help both prevent incidents from occurring and minimize the impact of any incident that does occur. In this video, we will review the coverage provisions that are available in most cyber insurance products, including those offered by Travelers. Cyber insurance protects against first-party losses such as the expense of conducting a digital forensic examination or notifying affected parties. It also covers third-party liability, such as responding to lawsuits or inquiries from regulatory agencies. In this video, we'll describe different coverage scenarios to illustrate who needs cyber insurance and why. We'll also show how cyber coverage can help companies prevent losses, not just pay for them. In a complex and ever-shifting threat landscape, cyber insurance provides valuable protection to businesses and organizations. If just one of these threats gets through a business or organization's defenses, the result could be a costly data breach, a disruption of business operations, regulatory inquiries, or lawsuits, perhaps even all of those. Cyber insurance can provide first-party coverages which help protect against losses resulting from a cyber incident, and third-party coverages which help protect against liability claims or other potential costs following a cyber incident. Let's start by reviewing some of the first-party coverage provisions that may be available. Data breach remediation and notification coverage helps to protect a business when a data breach occurs. The moment coverage is triggered, the policy provides reimbursement for legal consultation with a breach coach, as described in the Traveller's Cyber Academy video, After the Breach, Who to Call, What to Do. Where appropriate, the policy will also provide reimbursement for digital forensic investigations to determine the scope of the breach and the number and identity of affected individuals. In addition, it can provide notification expenses, so businesses can draft legally sound documents and establish and maintain a call centre to handle customer inquiries. And, if required, the policy could cover the cost of providing credit or identity monitoring services to affected individuals. The limits and deductibles for coverage are usually expressed as an amount in pounds sterling, but coverage could also be available per person affected, up to a specified number. Some types of businesses may prefer this. Cyber incidents affect businesses of every size and sector. Companies with employees must ensure they can protect sensitive data. The US tax authorities described a recent tax fraud scheme as one of the most dangerous email phishing schemes seen in a long time. In a hypothetical claim scenario involving a manufacturing company with 300 staff, the estimated potential cost was close to £150,000. This coverage is critical for any business or organisation that accepts or processes credit or debit card payments, or that collects or handles health information or other personally identifiable data. A business or organisation cannot simply assume that it's not suffered a data breach just because it's not detected one. Most data breaches are discovered by a third party, such as a law enforcement agency or an outside cybersecurity vendor. As described in the Traveller's Cyber Academy session on ransomware, criminals have also turned to extortion as a way of profiting from the compromise of a computer system or computer network. Cyber extortion coverage can help a business or organisation that has fallen victim to ransomware by providing reimbursement for the costs of investigating a ransom demand, retaining legal counsel or other assistance in negotiating the demand, and, if necessary, actually paying the ransom. A business or organisation could also suffer a loss of income when its computers and networks are attacked or compromised, for example, by being infected with ransomware or through a denial of service attack. A denial of service or DOS attack is when an organisation's servers are flooded with fake traffic in order to block legitimate traffic and impede normal business operations. Business interruption coverage provides protection when computers and networks are targeted by ransomware, denial of service attacks, or other malicious activity. A related coverage, known as contingent business interruption, protects against attacks or outages relating to third parties on which the organisation depends, website hosting providers, for example, or cloud service providers. Both business interruption and contingent business interruption insurance provide reimbursement for the extra expenses of mitigating losses. For example, when critical web applications are transferred to a different server. These days, most businesses or organisations rely on data or computers and should consider obtaining business interruption and cyber extortion coverage. According to Symantec's 2016 Internet Security Threat Report, denial of service attacks are growing in number and intensity, and this threat is likely to continue increasing. As for ransomware, hospitals and healthcare providers have been the most recent high-profile victims. But Symantec's special report on ransomware and businesses found that almost every sector has been affected by ransomware in recent years. The most frequently targeted sectors listed in order were service industries, manufacturing, financial, public sector, and wholesalers. Ransomware can, of course, cause losses through both business interruption and extortion. As these threats continue to evolve and become more sophisticated, prudent organisations can protect themselves through cyber extortion cover and business interruption cover. Cyber insurance may also include coverage for computer fraud and funds transfer fraud. Computer fraud involves the unauthorised use of a business or organisation's computers to conduct a fraudulent transaction. Funds transfer fraud is committed through spoofing, which does not necessarily involve the use of a business or organisation's computers. In spoofing, a criminal poses as an employee and sends an email message or other electronic communication to a bank in order to conduct a fraudulent transaction. Coverage for social engineering fraud, in which an employee is tricked or persuaded by a criminal into transferring money, may be found in crime policies or other travellers' insurance products. Fraud coverage is important for businesses and organisations that engage in business-to-business transactions involving wire transfers or other forms of electronic payment. Consider, for example, a scenario in which a disgruntled former employee uses stolen account names and passwords to access a company's accounts payable system. He could transfer £250,000 to an overseas bank account and then disappear. In this scenario, coverage for computer fraud or funds transfer fraud could help protect the company from a potentially crippling financial loss. Finally, whether a cyber incident involves ransomware or some other malicious activity, there may be significant costs associated with recovering lost data, repairing damaged operating systems, and restoring applications and other important software files. Computer program and electronic data restoration coverage can help a business or organisation meet these expenses, whether caused by a virus, a hacker, or even a disgruntled employee. In addition to protecting against their own first-party losses, businesses and organisations should obtain protection against third-party liability, such as lawsuits and investigations. The types of third-party coverages available include the following. First, Network and Information Security Liability provides coverage against claims that allege a failure to prevent the transmission of computer viruses or other malware, a failure to protect individuals' confidential information, a failure to provide access to authorized users, and a failure to comply with data breach notification obligations. This coverage also protects against claims that a business or organization failed to comply with its own privacy policy with respect to the protection of personally identifiable information. Communications and media liability coverage helps protect against claims alleging copyright infringement, trademark infringement, trade dress infringement, and similar violations. Infringements of an individual's right to publicity, including using an individual's likeness or appearance for commercial purposes without authorization. And defamation, libel, slander, and other forms of reputational harm. Coverage can be obtained for all the communications of a business or organisation, or specifically for claims based on email communications, social media platforms, internet websites, or other forms of electronic media. Finally, regulatory defence coverage provides protection in the event that a data breach results in a formal administrative or regulatory proceeding by, for example, the police, the Health and Safety Executive, the Environment Agency, local authorities, financial regulators such as the Financial Conduct Authority, and other professional regulatory agencies. Coverage may also be available for any resulting regulatory fines and penalties. Nearly all entities that collect or store personally identifiable information should consider obtaining network and information security liability coverage to protect against the risk of being sued in the event of a data breach. According to the 2016 cyber claims study by Net Diligence, legal defence and settlement costs were included in approximately 10% of all cyber claims, with average total costs approaching £650,000. In addition, regulatory defence coverage is critical for businesses and organisations that handle the confidential information of others. The regulatory environment is fast-paced and constantly changing. In March 2017, for example, the New York State Department of Financial Services finalised cybersecurity regulations that establish comprehensive requirements for financial institutions and affiliates, changing how those companies will be affected by a cybersecurity event. Regulatory investigations can also be costly. For example, a recent hypothetical claim scenario involved a healthcare provider and 750 stolen patient files. The Net Diligence Data Breach Cost Calculator estimated the potential costs of such an investigation at close to £290,000. Coverage is also available for businesses and organisations that receive, handle or process payment card information. There may also be a contractual requirement to pay fines, fees or assessments in the event of a breach of PCI data. This coverage helps to protect against the cost of conducting PCI forensic investigations, any resulting fines, fees or assessments, and any chargebacks for fraudulent activity relating to stolen PCI. Depending on the extent of the breach, these costs can range into the millions of dollars. In addition, if a business or organisation's systems are found to be non-compliant with legal security standards after a data breach, coverage may be available for the costs associated with coming into compliance and for obtaining the necessary compliance standard. Companies that produce or provide technology goods or services should also consider obtaining errors and omissions coverage, or Tech E&O. This cover provides financial protection against third-party claims relating to technology products that do not meet required specifications, software that is buggy and not performing as expected, or technology services that do not meet customer expectations, resulting in financial harm to the customer or other third parties. In determining what kind of coverage a business or organisation needs, here are some of the fundamental questions to consider. What sensitive information does the business or organisation collect or store? This can include information obtained from customers, from employees, and from other businesses or individuals. How sensitive is the data? Certain kinds of information are inherently more valuable and more likely to lead to lawsuits or regulatory inquiries than others. How is sensitive data to be collected, used, shared, and disposed of? Data that is widely shared, for example, whether within a business or with outside parties, is obviously more vulnerable to compromise. And what systems or data does the business or organisation depend on? If the operations of a business or organisation rely on critical applications, data centres or cloud services, there may be a need for robust business interruption coverage. A good cyber insurance policy will provide more than just financial protection. It will provide access to other benefits, such as pre-breach services that can actually help prevent losses. According to the 2016 Cost of Data Breach study by the Ponemon Institute, the average cost of a breach was lower for businesses that carried cyber insurance than for businesses that did not. Here at Travellers, we offer a range of cyber insurance products to meet the needs of businesses of all shapes and sizes. Cyber First Essentials covers small businesses, including tech companies and professionals. Cyber First focuses on mid to large technology companies and upwards. along with public sector entities. Cyber risk covers everything else, from private and non-profit entities and financial institutions up to the largest publicly held companies. Additional information about these products can be found at www.travellers.com/cyber or from your local independent insurance agent or broker. In April 2017, Travellers announced that it had engaged Symantec, one of the world's leading cybersecurity companies, to provide an array of valuable pre-breach services for Travellers' cyber insurance policyholders, including one or more of the following, depending on the type of policy purchased. Access to a cybersecurity assessment tool that helps businesses and organisations better understand their current cybersecurity posture, what is being done well, and where improvement is needed. Cybersecurity awareness training. Employees who have been educated about cyber threats are the strongest defence against both internal and external attackers. Educating the entire organisation not only helps to minimise potential attacks, but can also reduce internal security accidents. Discounts on cybersecurity products and services, such as Norton for small business software, DeepSight Intelligence, and Symantec Managed Security Services. Access to cybersecurity expertise through white papers, cybersecurity update, or live access to a cybersecurity coach. In summary, cyber insurance is an important risk management tool that enables businesses and organisations to address cyber risks. This is important at a time when other lines of insurance are increasingly excluding coverage for cyber-related incidents. However, coverage terms and availability can vary widely. So, it's important for a business or organisation to work with a trusted independent insurance agent or broker that can obtain appropriate coverage for its specific needs. A business or organisation can better protect itself by understanding the cyber risks that it faces and by working with a trusted independent insurance agent or broker to obtain cyber insurance with appropriate first-party and third-party coverages. It can also benefit from the valuable pre-breach services that a good cyber policy provides to help improve its cyber security. We hope you enjoyed this session of the Travellers Cyber Academy Cyber Insurance, Protect and Prevent.